Good afternoon. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Ware Coins and Precious Metals, watching the manatees, or as we call them in South Florida, the sea cows, happily munching away here. This is Homosassa Springs above water live cam, and kind of cool. I was looking at the local ocean cams here, not too much to look at, very windy and very low clarity in the ocean right now. And I popped up and said, I know, I'll get the sea cow cam. And again, that's kind of sea cows. If you take a look at them, if you don't live in South Florida, they're just covered. Some of them have got barnacles on them as well, but man, there's these huge, just roundish looking strange animals that are a cross between what a hippo with no legs and no arm, or no feet, I guess you should say. But there's another one popping up there. Pretty cool cam. Again, not in South Florida. Not too many pretty looking South Florida cams today, but this is up in Homosassa Springs, which I think is up in the Ocala area. Pretty cool stuff. My quote for the day is investing. You know, I've been kind of there's a lot of people out there that got into silver here. Let me blow it up for you a little bit, and have got into the gold and silver markets with the intention of making a lot of money quickly. You know, the belief that their friend told them, or they heard from this YouTuber or that YouTuber, or this buddy that the price of silver was going to double and triple sometime soon, which is, you know, the furthest from the truth. I don't think anyone in good conscience that knows the gold and silver markets could earnestly say that in any way, shape, or form, and why would they? They would trade on that advice themselves. However, seasoned people and the people that understand these markets, understand what gold and silver is about wealth preservation more than anything else, are not into get rich. You know, get rich people are in from one. They move from one thing to another. It's cryptos one moment, and then it's Tupperware. Some other. I guess Tupperware is real. Shows you how old I am. What was it? MLS or MLM or something like that? Multi-level marketing MLM during the 80s or the 90s or something. I mean, they move from one thing to another, never realizing that if they just stuck with one or a couple things and learned it well, they would have made a lot more money. But that's not just investing, that's moving from one career to another as well. I know friends that have done that. But investing is really, I like this saying, investing is for wealth preservation, not wealth creation. So first you have to make the wealth. And I believe that 100%. You know, there are out there crypto billionaires and millionaires, perhaps, you know, people that got in at the ground floor, bought a lot of it at a low price, and then, you know, when the Bitcoin got to $60,000 per unit, they made a ton of money. I mean, of course, same thing, you could do that with stocks and bonds, but a vast majority of the people do not. 99% of us are not that lucky. You know, you know, there's a segment of people out there that is extremely lucky, or, you know, right place, right time. And again, 99% of us are probably not in life going to be at the right place at the right time to make millions and millions of dollars quickly. So really, it is about making your money, whether it's through your business, whether it's through you know, trading. You could even consider trading kind of a business. But investing is a whole different thing. Investing is about wealth preservation. We've talked about that a lot. The people that whine about price of silver, oh, it's not gone up past this or that, past 30 or whatever it may be, or, you know, it's taken so long to get here. Those are the get rich quick people. And for those of you out there looking to get rich quick, this is not your market, gold or silver. You should not be in this market. This is about wealth preservation. Can you get rich quick? Yeah, but it's all about right time, right place, especially with gold and silver. Will silver and gold double in price? Absolutely, in my opinion. But I'm not looking at the short term, and really when you're doing this kind of stuff, when you become day trader in precious metals, that's what you're looking for. Is well, anyways, investing is about wealth preservation. I just kind of want to reiterate that. And all of us have our goals on what we believe is the best way to invest in our future. I'm not here to tell you how to do that. I'm just here to tell you what the best deals in gold and silver, and talk about other nonsense. All right, it's not nonsense. I always try to relate stuff to what metals are going to do. Currently, 1842.31. Again, oh, hang on a second. Let me see if I refresh that screen. Is that refreshed? Yep, refreshed. 1842 currently right now at 16:59 time, which is 1:06. Obviously, that says 16:59. Bouncing around 1840 to 1850. Again, we'll take a look at the 24-hour charts here shortly. Silver holding on to that $22 mark quite well so far. Bouncing 21.92, maybe a tad lower 21.90. I'm not sure, but high 21s and low 22 range is where silver's been sitting. Currently at 22.10. Platinum bounced off its low 1,016, I guess a high 1,036 sitting around, and again in the middle 1,020. And palladium, wow, I'm not quite sure what palladium's doing. By the way, I have a little special on palladium 1 gram bars. Don't ask me who the hell made them. They're a good product and everything like that, but I bought some, got them here in the store, and I noticed that the cheapest people out there, AppMax or SD or JM, had them for, what was it, 30-something% over melt, or maybe even higher than that, actually. Well, it was just stupid money. I got them, and while they last, I got some 1 grams palladium bars for a good price here in the store. Very affordable. Let's take a look at the 24-hour charts. 1850. Let me just do a refresh too, and sometimes this doesn't refresh well, but there we go. It did. 1850. Where did we see some monkey hammering occurred in the morning? Around 8:20 or so, maybe a little bit after that. You can see the shaded line there is the New York Crimex markets, where it took a big dump and then back up. So monkey hammered downward and then slingshots back up. This is healthy right here. We're moving back up to the higher levels in the gold price at some point. This is not healthy when you see these trending lines downward like this. These kind of things don't concern me. In fact, this kind of tells me that we're moving back into an upward market in gold, I believe. Let's see what happens. Silver, again, we built a base. Gold's definitely, in my opinion, built a base above $1,800. I mean, that's the level now. It's been the level for a little while. And will it continue to be the level here for the rest of the year? I don't know. I doubt it. I think we're going to see surges back into that 1,900 plus territory before the end of the year for sure. Again, rinse and repeat with these markets, with this, with these big commercial short positions and the institutional longs and the games that they've been playing in gold and silver markets for for I don't know how long. Silver even worse, as we all know. Let's take a look at the 24-hour silver charts. Same thing here. Look at the green line, just kind of a monkey hammered in the morning. You could, again, gold and silver just seem to both get monkey hammered at the exact same time, even though they're kind of two different metals, and they really shouldn't, react exactly with each other. I know, where gold goes, silver is going to eventually follow, but silver has industrial demand where gold does not have industrial demand. So these metals shouldn't always act or get monkey hammered the exact same time for the exact same reason. Well, the only reason they're getting monkey hammered is because these crooks make a lot of money doing that. Let's move out of here. Again, we're sideways in these markets. Silver to me is a good opportunity at these low 20 levels. Will we see sub 20? I still don't believe that unless we see an entire market collapse. If we see sub $20 silver in the paper COMEX markets, we know that machine is the COMEX Crimex machine is completely broken at this point. Premiums again on investment type products like gold bars and silver bars. Not gold. There's plenty of gold out there. There's no shortage of gold out there, folks. Premiums aren't crazy. Gold is available out there. It's the silver where the premiums are just absolutely stupid. I mean, especially Silver Eagles. I made that suggestion yesterday to do that trade. Trade Silver Eagles for 100-ounce bars. I had a gentleman come in and do it today. He stuffed some real money into his pocket doing it as well. Forget exactly what the amount came to, but yeah, good deal for him for sure. And he's the only one that took me up on that deal so far, trading Silver Eagles for 100-ounce bars. Again, he walked out with even more silver, which was a big bonus for him. He's going to do far better in the future with more silver than he is with a extremely high price premium product. And again, with no guarantee that premium is going to stay there forever, especially when silver starts moving into higher territories. Let's take a look at the darling of the government and the darling of central bankers everywhere, well, not everywhere, but the darling of central bankers in the United States, which is the Dow Jones, S&P, and NASDAQ, all in the green a little bit, but looks like it's faltering again, and we may see these markets going back into the red. But again, my gut feeling, like a lot of you folks out there's gut feeling, is that we haven't seen the end of these downward markets, that we are probably in a medium and long-term bear market with stocks and bonds. But gosh darn, stocks and bonds and real estate is the darling of the government. It's their barometer, how they measure how well they're doing here in this country. They presume that everyone benefits, including the middle class and poor, from stocks, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. But that's their assumption, is that they have to keep the stock markets up and they have to keep the housing market up. And again, I believe there's a lot of intervention by the federal government and the central banks into these stock markets and housing market to keep these markets propped up and from collapsing like they probably would have if, again, the Fed and the government hadn't stepped in. And I really do believe that. I believe the only reason the stock markets and the housing market hasn't collapsed is because of Fed intervention along with government intervention. And how do they do that? They do it through the plunge protection team. And if you think I'm talking conspiracy bullshit, just stop, pause the video, do a Google search for plunge protection team. I know most of you have done that already, and most of you knew it before I did too. So, all right, gold prices, I've said it over and over and over, gold and silver prices. I believe that we are sitting, this is a chart, you probably recognize it from yesterday, I flashed it up real quick, but this is the non-inflation adjusted price of gold and silver, which means it's not according to inflation adjusted dollars. So, well, there you go. I believe if you take a look at this chart, this is when Nixon took us off the gold standard. I mean, prior to that, gold was officially 35 bucks an ounce, and prior to that, $20 an ounce. Take a look at this. Actually, this is a great chart to look at. It tells us a lot of things here. I'm looking all the way back to 1915 here. The creation of the Fed is in 1913, if I believe, and the IRS, coincidentally. The Fed and the IRS were created the same year. Go figure. Let's take a look at this chart. So, as I said, a dollar, the spending power of a dollar, and again, this is wealth preservation, folks. This is what I've been talking about, wealth preservation. This is back when, in 1920s here, when you could take a $20 gold piece and you could, or a $20 bill and go get a $20 gold coin from the government, which was the same. Our dollar was pegged at 20 bucks per ounce, more or less. Or the gold price was pegged at 20 US dollars, and that's why you see $20 here. This is non-inflation adjusted, now mind you of that. All the way up until, there's your Depression years right there, and there's where Roosevelt, I believe, took all the gold in, made it illegal for US citizens to own gold. Again, the fiat dollar, gold's maintained its buying power. The fiat dollar has not in any way, shape, in closer form. Back here, you could buy a man's suit, and you could take an ounce of gold and buy a man's suit. You could take a $20 US dollar bill and buy a man's suit. After 1913, again, or 1930s, during the Depression, Roosevelt made gold for US citizens illegal to own. Then he repriced the price of gold from 20 to, 35 bucks an ounce, thereabouts. So more or less what he did is he stole from Americans. Well, of course, no great tragedy should go without some kind of political. What's that thing that they say, that saying about how politicians thrive on tragedy? Well, this is what happened to the American dollar here, folks, when Roosevelt decided to take gold away from Americans. But they did manage to keep it all through the wartime years. As you can see, 43, a couple little blips there, but in that 35, the official price of gold, until, voila, who? Mr. Nixon, right here. There's the Vietnam War right there. France and other countries started looking at us and saying, you know what, we want our gold back, folks. We think you're spending too much money. We think you're screwing with the Bretton Woods Agreement, and that you're not going to be able to pay us back, and that you're going to just endlessly print money. Well, of course we're not, says the Fed. Of course we're not, says Nixon. But meanwhile, he closes the gold window pretty much on the rest of the world. And here you go, folks. There's your non-inflation adjusted price of gold here. And as you notice, I think, and this is also, look, this is the Nixon years. We got war going on in Vietnam. We're fighting the Cold War with the Russians. Sound familiar? A proxy war. We're fighting proxy wars with Russia, more or less, through Vietnam, through Korea, through all over the world. We're fighting proxy wars with Russia through this period again. after the war, the Cold War, and through this period right here. We got the OPEC nations raising the price of oil. We got, again, our dollar's completely depegged from gold. There's no relationship to gold anymore with the U.S. dollar for U.S. citizens or countries abroad. But somehow we managed to create another Bretton Woods agreement with, we were too big to fail, more or less. The dollar was too big to fail. All these other countries were already dollarized, man. The OPEC, the oil countries were dollarized. Europe was dollarized to some degree. Just like, I think all captains, the airline captains all over the world all speak English, I believe, or the terminals do. There's one central language, it's English, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, you pilots out there. But we created a world standard. There was no backing off at some point. This is just like the dollar. There's no backing off at this point. Most countries were stuck with the dollar and stuck with our useless promises we wouldn't overinflate it. But what do? They inflated their fiat currencies as well. And again, that's when we talk about the dollar basket. The dollar is simply the last horse in the glue factory. In the comparison for me of where we are in history, again, I believe that we are in this point in history right here. You see this little blip right here? I think we're in another one of these periods right here. We saw this most recent blip right there. There you go. And then we've got a couple other blips. I think we're headed to epic territory when it comes to price of gold and silver. But again, that's my medium and long-term prognosis. I'm not even going to say long-term. Long-term to me would imply 5, 10 years, 10 years, maybe longer. Medium-term, I think, is within the next 5 years we're going to see price of gold and silver go up substantially. And hey, listen, my gut feeling is it's going to happen a lot sooner than that. It just, and in fact, I've had that gut feeling for quite a few years now. I'm just surprised that it hasn't. But again, never underestimate the power of people that can endlessly print money. Never underestimate the people that can legislate things or not legislate things or not regulate things like we've got going on with the, in my opinion, the Crimex markets not being regulated, highly manipulative. And all right, well, all right, let me move along from there and let's just take a look at the chart that calms everyone that buys gold and silver that didn't have the expectations of getting rich quick. All the gold and silver buyers, stackers out there, the chart that warms their heart and that every time they get a little nervous, am I doing the right thing with my wealth preservation with gold and silver? All you need to do is look at look at the chart I just showed you, but this chart right here. You just need to look at the purchasing power of the consuming dollar in the U.S. average city. This is their own economic data, folks. It's probably a lot worse than what this chart shows. No less, this is from their own official data in numbers that they use. And take a look at this, even from the mouths of the babes, so to speak, or from the mouths of the people that make this data. It's a downward trend to nothing. That's where fiat's going. And if we overlay the gold chart with that, it does just the opposite. These little temporary, when they say the dollar strength. Dollar strength is just simply a term to imply that the dollar is better off than the other turds that are out there. Again, the last horse to the glue factory is the winner, and that's probably the U.S. dollar, and more than likely going to happen in this collapse of the fiat, collapse of the U.S. dollar empire is what we're actually looking at here, folks, in my opinion. And I think that they're pulling out all the stops. That's probably all the stops. I think that maybe perhaps on an international, to explain our poor foreign policy over what we've got going on with wars, to explain that poor foreign policy, maybe it's an attempt just to weaken Europe, weaken the euro, weaken all these other countries, so the dollar once again will be the dominant currency. But I don't think they can pull it off, folks. I think that this is the Titanic that's going down. They know it's going down. They're just, again, hey, you know my opinion. Hey, let's take a look at gata.org. By the way, that's a chart that warms my heart when I own gold and silver, and makes me realize that, listen, we're doing, look, let's do the 1 year chart. This is even more dismal. My gosh, I've seen smaller refuse piles in Florida. I've seen smaller mountains of trash where we put our trash in this one right here. This is a freaking ski slope right here. Take a look at this. This is just under the current administration's power here that we're seeing this. And you know what the misery index looks like. That's even worse. We're not going to go to the misery index. So gata.org. Great website. If you're new to my videos, you really should bookmark this on your bar. Read these articles weekly. I believe the same thing as well with what was the other one that I'm always Zero Hedge, ZH. I like ZH because it provides alternative sources of news and opinions and stuff, not your corporate same old bullshit you read. India's May gold imports surged to 677%. That's huge. If you think about that, that's going to wake up the price of gold as well, folks. And again, where gold goes, silver will go as well. But again, it's their wedding season. It's their key festival, and it always does seem to boost gold imports into India. But what they're talking about here is that India may put some maybe they'll put some tariffs and stuff on gold as well, because it does put pressure on the ailing rupee. Remember, gold and silver is the canary in the gold mine. When gold and silver starts to, and that's from Greenspan himself. Greenspan said when gold and silver starts to really take off, it's an indication that the dollars in the central banking system isn't doing well. All right. So the same thing for India. They wouldn't be any different. Hedge fund sues LME for their $456 million over nickel trade cancellations. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's nice to see. The LME to me is not much different than the CME. Just that's the London Metal Exchange. We got the Chicago Mercantile Exchange running the Chicago gangsters running the CME Crimex silver markets. And I think there's a lot of similarities between there. Would the CME do the same thing? Probably not. I think that the CME group has to be watching LME and saying, "Oh my gosh, maybe that's what we would have done. We would have canceled the trade to save our biggest whale." But with the lawsuit happening and all kinds of stuff, well, I don't know. CME Group's got huge amounts of lawyers, just like the LME Group. It's not their own money; it's their customers' money, and they don't mind spending it, defending their asses, and that's exactly what they're going to do here. $456 million. Well, I hope Elliott Associates, who would have been on the upside of that trade, wins that lawsuit. Good article to read, by the way, if you guys get a chance. Again, this is gata.org. Let's move along to some other good articles here too, and just see what's happening in ZH world, out there in political economic world. And a lot of folks say, "Well, Brian, why do you talk about this stuff?" Because you know what? Stupid politicians, stupid bankers, stupid foreign policy, all this stuff plays into the price of gold and silver without a doubt. Anyone that thinks it does not is denial what real money is. Real money is gold and silver. And when people are fearful of the fiats and they're fearful of bad economic policies and world global things, they're going to go into gold. Only a small amount of people are in gold and silver right now, folks. When that frickin' gate opens up, man, it'll be like Walmart at a Christmas sale. Let's see. I don't blame. Listen, Mr. President of Mexico, he's an embarrassment to us as well. So is his administration and the people that are, so is that whole party that he's involved with. So the President of Mexico, listen, we're embarrassed about him as well. That's just shameful right there. Really, Norway really does that kind of stuff. You know what? Norway probably needs its own shake-up as well politically. And all right, what does that have to do with the price of gold and silver? I don't know, nothing directly, folks, but indirectly it just shows you the stupidity of governments. And if you're counting on them to protect your money, to protect you, to protect your family, whatever, don't count on them. You got morons running the show, especially it looks like in Norway at the moment here. And we got them here too as well. And what does that do for the price of gold and silver? Well, it's good, because the more the society degrades and the more that the political situation degrades and the more morons we get up there, the higher chances of a default and the higher chances of the fiat dollar even getting worse and worse, taxes going higher. Well, and this is good for the price of gold and silver. Unfortunately, in a perfect world, gold and silver would be at $20 an ounce and a $20 bill. But it's not. We're not in a perfect world, and we never will be. Maybe we were for a short period of time when we had our dollar backed by gold, but economically in a perfect time. But we will never be back to that point. Central banks will never back their dollar by gold. They'll do a reset. Digital currencies, which will screw the middle class and the poor. Well, the poor won't be screwed because they're always screwed, but they'll screw the middle class and a certain amount of rich as well. It'll be a big swap of wealth going on there. But we could hope for in this country that we might have sound money, and we might have sound politicians that can create sound money policies and sound foreign policy as well, which we sadly lack. If you think about this, we've never had a good. We've done a lot of regime changes, which we're actually currently trying to do one in Ukraine, which is fucking the world as far as oil prices go and food prices and everything else, all because of the follies of these morons that are running EU and the United States. But again, my opinion, I'm just going to slide off to the self-delusion. Yeah, I'd say that's what a vast majority of Americans still have, is self-delusion, and Europeans. Let's see what else is going on. That's not good for the economy, but it is good for the price of gold and silver. Let me see if there's anything here. Peter Schiff's exactly right. America has never been in a weaker position to fight inflation. It's their own fault. You can't just endlessly print money, and Peter talks about that all the time. This is just the only reason that this whole deal occurred is because we had a color revolution back in Ukraine in 2014. We took a country that was relatively peaceful and not at war at all, and we turned it into a war country. We did this, folks. Our government, the State Department, the Obama administration at the time did this, all right? So we created a big war back then. Now it's gotten so out of hand. But remember what I told you the other day about doubling down on stupid? Our politicians don't fix anything. They just double down on stupid. Well, that's what they did. Instead of trying to create peace with these guys right here, instead of trying to create peace with us and smooth it all over and say, hey, listen, we shouldn't have screwed this up to start with. Let's kind of fix this and make sure that we can all get along. We can all share in the wealth of the world. No, they throw more weapons down there. They throw more rhetoric. They isolate the people that we've already had a Cold War with. I lived through one. The current people haven't. The current young generation haven't, and they're the idiots out there pushing for it, some of them, all right? Just take a look at Twitter. You'll figure that out. Again, dumbass leftists and dumbass socialists and dumbass Democrats, in my opinion. And there are a lot of dumbass Republicans as well. Wow. And remember, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm an American. And so are you, folks, first and mostly. Exxon soars above 100. Let's see where else is going on. I don't see too much in gold and silver. Again, no good news. All you got to do is look down here and see that there's no good news. I mean, U.S. and South Korean jets in large show of force. Kim's not going to do anything, but you know what? It's just another distraction. And I tell you what, if we go to war with China, Kim will throw his defense behind China. He'll be part of that whole China ally group for sure, along with Russia. Again, Europe and the United States are being run by war hawks and morons, or morons. The party of the peace party, and the people that claim they were the peaceful ones in the world, they're anything but a bunch of warmonger cocksuckers, in my opinion. Excuse my language. This is going to get an X rating video for sure. Fucking idiots. Look, you should actually shove that up his ass. I'm sorry. I'm getting so pissed at what's going on out there. Latest failing attempt to slow energy costs invokes defense production to push the green agenda. See, what have I talked about? Doubling down on stupid. That's what these idiots do. They double down on stupid. And they do the same thing in Europe, too, trust me. I don't know how Europe and the United States get overtaken by morons, leftists, socialists, Marxists, and idiots. I just don't know how it happened. It did. We all fell asleep, folks. All us people in the middle fell asleep. And some of the Republicans, they don't care. It's just a power sharing agreement as far as they're concerned. What's the best deals out there? The best deals out there are everything in gold is an okay deal. Bars are a much better deal. And as you know, I advertise to beat APMEX, JM, and SD Bullion on their prices. Your local dealer should be able to do the same, folks. And as far as silver goes, definitely trade those Silver Eagles. I can trade you Silver Eagles for other forms of silver where you can put some serious money back in your pocket, man. I think a customer today did ounces for ounces, traded silver. Roughly off the top of my head, he traded silver Eagles for some generic silver products, and he did an even trade, and he ended up putting almost $600 more silver in his pocket. On top of that, not premium, more silver. $600 worth of more silver. What does that equate to? That equates to 20-something plus ounces. Another 20, let's see. Oh, wow. It was significant, actually, if you think about it. Wow. he did a good job. So a great trade out there. If you can find a local dealer that'll do the trade Silver Eagles for generic silver. You should be able to put more generic silver in your pocket. That's my advice out there. And if you're just still buying silver to stack, stick with 100-ounce bars, kilo bars, 10-ounce bars, and 1-ounce bars if they're available. Cheapest premiums. Avoid all the sovereign silver products at most, avoid them, just avoid them. They're overpriced. From Silver Eagles to Silver Maple Leafs and all this stuff, they're overpriced. Especially Silver Eagles. Stay the hell away from them if you're a new guy buying silver, stacking silver. All right, gonna go over yesterday's video. I got it done late last night. I had AC issues, man. I didn't get the video done late. And man, it's hard doing these videos sometimes, especially if you've had a long day. Your mojo is like, mojo, lacking mojo. So for any of you folks that have been watching my videos for the last month or two, I had some lacking mojos because of head colds, because of COVID, because of little issues and problems going on. It's typical, you know how it goes. Getting stuck in Baltimore over a month ago, or a month and a half ago. That sucked too. So, so sometimes your mojo's not really up there. I feel good mojo today, by the way. Let me answer some questions here. There you go. Here, let me get rid of this. This is another spammer, scammer. Remove another one of those guys. About being diversified, I own real estate. Hey, I think diversification is the key here. I really do. Thank you for you folks that enjoy my content. I appreciate that. And stackers will always have a good night's sleep because you know that chart. You saw the chart, the CPI chart. As long as you're stacking gold and silver and you're in it for wealth preservation and you didn't get in it to get rich quick, you're going to be a happy, well-slept camper. Yeah, Monday evening kind of crumbled, then it kind of backed up a little bit. Tree climber, take a look at the Kitco charts. I like these. They tell you kind of when during the evening and for the last 3 days where the activity happened. This is a Sunday night, obviously, and then you got Monday here where it got the trashing that you talked about overnight, and then today. But 24-hour charts are really nice to look at as far as kind of getting a feel for what's happening on the overnights, and the days. When did that happen? I woke up yesterday and it was up, and yesterday I went to bed and it was up, and this morning it's down. When did that happen? In the middle of the night on the crooked Globex markets where no one else would trade silver. Anyway, yeah, I was going to go on a rant there. I got one good for you. Half off premium. Nice. All right. Anytime you can take advantage of those online guys. Again, I advertise here in my store. If you live in South Florida, beat the local guys, and I beat AppMex, AppMex, SD, and JM Bullion. I also beat S&M Bullion. Okay. And, be able to find a good local dealer to me is important, folks, because it keeps the money local. Plus, it's nice to be able to sell your stuff and not have to put it in the mail, which you may have to do if you're only buying online. You don't develop a good relationship. I have a suspicious feeling, that is a porn ad, so we're going to get rid of that. Another porn ad. Again, if anyone speaks whatever that language is, let me know. Another porn ad. There we go. We're just removing a lot of porn ads there. Fix the old AC. Yeah, no, you know what? Got a brand new AC coming in. It's the new stuff. Had to get it done. That thing was just, the coils were rotted out on the AC, but thanks for the advice there, Donald. I appreciate it. I have fixed that thing to the last Band-Aid. That AC coil looks worse than our economy, I think. Well, maybe not. You can't just keep bandaging things up. At some place, you got to reset, redo it, and do it the right way. I love the fish. Me too. Goose stepping North Korean military. Yeah, they do, man. They're good at that stuff. Again, I'd like to thank everybody here that watching. If you notice, I'm not saying names because, guys, all right, don't get me thinking about it. Thank you. Appreciate all the good wishes out there, and appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. T doesn't have the vernacular that I have as far as profanities and stuff. He's able to control himself. I am not. So, I gotta give T the Silver Stackers props. He does some nice videos. I like watching his videos. Can I use the word campy? They're campy and they're cool and they're fun. You know what I mean? My videos can be a little bit harsh and a little bit, I don't know. Again, throwing a few profanities, that kind of thing. But no less, thank you, all you folks, for watching. I appreciate you putting up with me. And as you know, my saying for the year, think for yourself and question authority, and most importantly, questioning what you think you know and what you think the truth and opinion is first, because it may not be your own. Good to develop your own opinion, in my opinion, not trust governments, media, your parents, Santa Claus, or whatever to tell you. All right, that's it. Hey, thanks for watching. This is Brian Kuzma with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call us anytime between 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. We advertise to be at Max JM and SD Bullion. And if you don't live in South Florida, I encourage you to find your local dealer yourself. Unfortunately, we don't ship or anything like that unless we're brick and mortar only. So find your own brick and mortar in town. You should be able to do it, even if you have to drive an hour or two. I think it's worth it. Hey, thanks again for watching, and talk to you later. Bye now.